I want to talk about you and the Snow Queen. How did that happen? The year was 1990. Is that the year? I want to talk about the perm.
Talk about? Oh my goodness.
Yes, I do. I'm a shallow person.
No,
I love the big hair.
Pretty successful. Sure, people don't know that much. Oh, yep, there we are. Wow,
this is from your book. Yes. What year was this?
So that was 1990 in South Dakota, especially back then. And when you were a senior in high school, most of the girls competed in the Snow Queen contest, which really was a local area contest where you gave interviews and speeches. And they chose one to go on to the state competition. And through that, you got scholarships. At that time, they gave a car. Other items, and then you traveled throughout the Midwest or the country being an ambassador for your state to different festivals and different gatherings or whatever. So I did that with all my friends when I was a senior in high school, won the local contest, and then went to the state contest with 52 other young women. And very interesting experience because I'm, if you remember, I was a ranch girl, a farm. In fact, when I won the state competition, the headline on all the newspapers was "Farm Girl Wins Snow Queen." It was like everybody that thought, wow, this is different. So, but it was very good for me. It's interesting. You go back that far and to know that much about my state, travel and get to be an ambassador for it. It really was a great opportunity for me to.
Well, a new car doesn't suck either.
Oh no, the new car, you would have loved it. It was a black Trans Am with the sunroof, but on the side of it, it had huge gold letters that said 1990 South Dakota Snow Queen on it. And that's the car I took to college. So you can imagine me pulling onto campus with this car that had big gold lettering on it. It was fantastic. And I was in the dorm with the entire football team. So, I didn't get any teasing whatsoever.
Oh, please. So, they would have done anything for there not to be a Brian Noem already in your life.
Oh, that's true. It's interesting. I totaled out that car too. So that was the last year they gave a car to the Snow Queen.
So sad. Well, I laughed in your book. You were talking about when you first ran for office and the biggest controversy you faced was you had some speeding tickets. And now it all makes sense. Now, I mean, they're going to give you a black Trans Am at, age 19. You're going to drive it fast. That's what's the point of having it if you're not going to do that?
Well, I had a dad that was like, you get to where you're going fast and get back here with those parts for that tractor, or hurry up and go get this and don't make me wait. That was how we were raised. So, and if we got speeding tickets, we paid them and kept going. But that was
ridiculous. Let's not revisit. That's a stupid controversy, but whatever. I just thought when seeing the Trans Am, that brings it all together. But I do want to talk to you about your dad, because that was one of the saddest and sweetest parts of your book. And I have to say, I can relate. I lost my own dad when he was 45. Your dad died in an accident on your farm when he was 49, and you go through it in great detail. For the YouTube audience, we're putting pictures up of the governor's dad and mom. And it was horrifying what happened to him in this corn auger. It was like the auger couldn't be turned on to save him after having gotten sucked in, because it would have ensured his death. And you write in the book something to the effect of, I was sitting there in the hospital waiting to hear, if they could have revived him. In the same hospital you were supposed to be late that same night for birthing classes for your child with whom you were 8 months pregnant. And instead they came in and told you there was nothing they could do and that he was gone. And you were in sort of a fight with him over something silly. And Kristi, the exact same thing happened with me. I was only 15, but I lost my dad that night in a sudden heart attack in our case, and was in a fight with him over something stupid. And it's just one of those things where, they would never want you or me to be walking around feeling guilt or anything other than their love for us thereafter, but you're only human.
Yeah. That's the one thing I wish I could tell people, is that you're not ever guaranteed another day. You're not guaranteed you're going to see these people again. We have enough tragedies in our family and in our country that's the reality. And sometimes you watch people just throw people away in their lives that is unnecessary. So I talk a little bit in the book about having him be gone, and just the fact that I wish I hadn't complained so much when he asked me to do stuff. I wish I would have sat down and visited more when I had the chance to. He always hurt. His back hurt so bad. He was always in pain because he worked so hard. And he used to ask us to rub his feet at night. And I just remember thinking, I wish that I just, would have not once, tried to sneak upstairs without him seeing me so I didn't have to rub his feet for him so he would feel better. That's the kind of stuff that you just don't realize you're missing out on until they're already gone. It was very difficult because he was such a larger than life person. And I'm sure your dad was like this to you too. Your whole life as a young girl revolves kind of around your dad. And when all of a sudden they're gone, you can't even imagine what the next 24 hours is going to look like, much less the rest of your life.
Then you found these tapes where, in addition to talking a lot about corn, he talked about you. He talked about you and your siblings and talked about how tough you were, how he could see that you were such a tough kid. And that must have been so comforting in a way. It's just sort of a way of shoring you up from beyond, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, my dad wasn't a talker. He was a doer. And so it took me probably 5 or 6 months before I could clean out his pickup. Farmers and ranchers live in their pickup. Everything they have, their notes, their pens, their tools. Even I talk about the fact that he always had a case of warm 7-Up and old candy bars or whatever in his back seat of his truck. And, everything that was important was in his pickup. And it took me a long time to go clean out his pickup after he passed away. But when I did, I opened up the console and there was dozens of these little, dictation tapes in there and a little tape recorder that, doctors talked into back then. And it was his voice and it was just him talking. I had been running the farm then, a very large operation, a lot of people working for me, a lot of men working for me that were middle-aged that didn't want to be working for a 22-year-old pregnant lady or a lady with a brand new baby, and getting challenged on every decision I was making. And here on these tapes was every answer I could have ever wanted. What soil type was the best for what crop, what to do with cattle, what to do if we ever got into financial trouble. And then some of these tapes were years and years old. In fact, he'd moved them from pickup to pickup. And when he'd gotten a new pickup, he just moved them. And there was a tape in there almost 10 years old where he talked about us kids, what he thought our strengths were, what our weaknesses were. And it was just amazing because this is not something my dad rarely said, I love you, much less talked about us. And that was when I knew everything was going to be okay. I thought, if God loves me this much, that he literally gave me all the answers that I needed in his own voice, then we're going to be fine. And I think that was the first night that I finally could sleep because I felt the peace that I knew we were going to be okay.
You tired of feeling like someone's always watching you on the internet? Maybe the advertisers know a little bit too much about you, or you're concerned about the privacy of your identity? Using incognito mode does not solve the problem. IPVanish VPN is here to protect your right to privacy and help you stay anonymous online. IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet without exposing your private details to third parties. You can use IPVanish on your computer, your tablet, your phones, even devices like your Fire Stick when you're streaming media. When you use IPVanish, all of your data is encrypted. IPVanish makes you virtually invisible online. It's that simple. IPVanish is offering an incredible 70% off their yearly plan for our listeners with a 30-day money-back guarantee. That's like getting 9 months for free. IPVanish, super easy to use. All you have to do is tap one button and you are instantly protected. Take your privacy back today with the brand rated 4.6 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Go to ipvanish.com/Megyn and use that promo code MEGYN to claim your 70% savings. ipvanish.com/Megyn. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.